Hey guys, this is Coach Derek, co-host of the Soapboxing Podcast. Man, ever since I found this Anchor app, I tell you, podcasting has become a lot simpler and a lot easier to do. They distribute the podcast over several platforms, and you have to do no work. I tell you, man, if you're interested in doing podcasting, you need to download the Anchor app. That's ANCHOR.FM. You can get started today with the Anchor app and do whatever your heart desires. Hey guys, this is Coach Derek. I want to give a shout out to our new sponsor, Pueblo Boxing. Y'all be sure to check out Pueblo Boxing. They have unique and high quality boxing gear and novelty gifts. You can find the gear at soloboxing.com. That's SOLO boxing.com. Check it out, man. They do quality work.
Oh, it's just hardware, man. S-E-A-B-O. Got the Latin American camera.
They got some trainers say, some fighters say, well, I don't watch videos of the guy fighting. I let the coach watch it. This, hey, man.
Guys, one thing we know for sure about Wilder, he hit you clean. Right. And this woman whooped the whole world twice. The whole world.
Good morning. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Soapboxing Podcast. It's your boy Fresh. And we got a special co-host in today, Robert, the Houston Hitman Redmond, Jr. What's going on? And then we got Joe from Next Fight Up, man. Happy New Year, gentlemen.
Happy New Year.
Hopefully it's already off to a great start.
So.
Just as long as we are 2020 is behind us, and now we can get started with this year, man. So, big shout out to Robert Redmond, man. Good job. Congratulations on your last fight. It was actually on the Next Fight Up card in November 28th in the Shrine Arena. The Shrine Arena or the Arena?
It's the Arabian Shrine.
Arabian Shrine. Yeah, there we go. In Houston, you won the ABO title, so congratulations. And congratulations to you as well, Joe. You were able to put on a card last year before the year ended. I was there. I had fun, man. It was a great, for what we were able to, for what you were able to put on with the limitations. It was a fun show. People showed up. It was exciting. You had a lot of great fights. I was in line getting a drink when I heard the crowd go wild. I think it was Garcia, right? Had that knockout.
Oh yeah, man, that scary knockout.
That was a very scary knockout. You hate to see when it takes a fighter a minute to get up after a hit like that, but he did get back up, and I guess he's okay, huh?
Oh yeah, he was fine afterwards. I think he got up after about a minute, and he was okay. I went and spoke to him as much as I could in the back. He was 100% and cool with what happened and understood what happened, and so no problems after the fact. But which I'm happy about. I'm happy because we promote Erickson. He's a signed fighter to Next Fight Up. So good things from him.
Yeah, that was exciting. That was exciting. And again, it was a great show with the limitations that are placed on you. So kudos for that.
Exponentially harder with COVID going on than anything we've ever done. I had that feeling. I know when you were a little kid, you ever got in like a schoolyard scrap and you get that adrenaline dump afterwards. You don't know what to do. That's the way I felt. After the show. You
had it available on pay-per-view. Well, now was that your first I don't think was that your first time having the show on with pay-per-view?
Yes. So that was we're going in-house on everything. So we are owning the entire product. So that was the first time us running a production ourselves that we didn't, we've allowed people to come in and film the show and stream the show, but this is our first attempt at doing it ourselves. I think it was done pretty well and looked like a good product, and I'm excited for expanding it in the future and what we can do with it.
Yeah, the production was nice. I like I said, I was there that night, but going back and viewing the footage, I mean, you had the commentators, good quality production value. So
yeah, the only thing I want to change, I want to have instant replay.
Nice. And
I want to be able to have a card outside of COVID where I'm not finding brand new fighters the day before the fight, so that I can get the commentators the proper information on the fighters. But they did an awesome job of being able to more or less shoot from the hip and speak about the fighters without having everything we would typically have for them.
Nice. Robert, how was it for you being back in the ring and winning the title, my man?
I'm sorry, the phone broke up. Say it again.
How was it for you being back in the ring, being back in action, and winning that title?
Man, it was good to be back. I just want to say Next Fight Up did a great job with the show in the bubble. But being back felt good, man. It got to knock some of the ring rust off. I think overall my performance was pretty solid. I went back and watched it, saw some more stuff I could have picked up on, but overall I felt good.
Well, gentlemen, it's great to have you on the show. We wanted to get you on and just talk a little bit of boxing. It's the beginning of a fresh year, man, and we had a good end to the year. We had the big show with Canelo versus Smith. I think was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
It was on the 19th, so 2 weeks ago.
All these days are just all blending in here lately. But yeah, what were your thoughts on this Canelo fight, Joe?
It was okay. This is my issue with all the fights. So even tonight's fight with Ryan Garcia, I'm upset that the bigger promotion companies are coming into Texas, obviously because we're allowing crowds, but they're not using any Texas fighters or what you consider what we have our local fighters. Obviously,
that's a very good point.
Matchbook is put on Matchbook fighters, and Golden Boy's putting on Golden Boy fighters tonight.
That's a very good point.
And especially when they're coming in and taking our dates too, because obviously you know that we're only allowed one fight per weekend, which somehow that got changed around for Canelo because El Tigre was the Friday before.
Right.
So they're pushing things around here, and I'd like to see the commission step up. And there's a commission meeting the end of this month where I'm going to raise that issue if we're going to allow – look, and the capitalism is capitalism. They're going to do what they're going to do. But I'd like to see our commission step up and say, hey, you know what? Yeah, we'll give you some dates in Texas. You're going to be taking dates from these other local promoters that want to put on shows. So, hey, how about you throw them a spot or two and get their guys on?
You know, that's an interesting –
They're only putting on 6 fights tonight, and they're all Golden Boy guys. There's not a single Texas fighter on the card. There's 2 coming from South America, I think. Or next there's 2 Golden Boy fighters from, I think, Panama are going to be on the show tonight. And then you got Garcia from California, and obviously Campbell's from England. But
that's an interesting statement that you made. Now, how involved are you as far as these commissioner meetings, and what do you see behind the scenes, and how involved do you get, and how much do they value your input or not? Do they listen? Do they care? How does that work?
That's the thing. It's like a bureaucracy too. So even if I bring up an issue or have an issue brought up for me, it still has to go to committee meeting. There has to be votes on it. There has to be a committee created for that to investigate it and bring something before the meeting, before the committee at a subsequent meeting. So it could take a year before you even get any traction. I mean, we've been fighting, and I know Underwood's been fighting the fact that if a fighter fails to show up, fails to make weight, ditches out on the contract, and screws us over on a fight, trying to get money back from that fighter or to get them suspended until they pay, it's like non-existent. We've been trying to get that rule put in place by the commission for like 2 years now.
Wow.
So it's incredibly difficult. But I mean, I think this is something they need to just do as the commission itself. I don't think there has to be a general rule about it, but I think they should at least stick up for the local guys to say, okay, you can fight, but hey, there's 15 guys in San Antonio right now that haven't had a fight in over a year. Think you can give them a spot on your card? Don't even ask them to pay for it.
Right.
They don't have to be on TV, but let's get some guys fighting.
That would make sense.
Especially because our resources are so low. If we're only doing one fight per weekend, we need to get some people on there, get them going, keep them active, because I don't know what BoxRec is going to do at this point. I haven't really checked to see if people are being gone inactive at this point, or if they're allowing them to stay on the roster a little bit while longer than usual. It used to be after 1 year, if you haven't had a fight in a year, you went inactive.
Right.
Once you go inactive,
you're
off the radar for many matchmakers or anything at that point, really, unless they get into past fights to see if you fought in the past and lost to somebody or did something along those lines to locate you.
Huh.
That's my big concern right now. What's going on, and then you got guys like, who is it? The YouTube brothers wanting to fight everybody, which I'm not against. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, boxing's entertainment, and if they're bringing in the numbers, then they should be able to get those fights. But if they're going to come to Texas, which I know they want to do because we're allowed to have a crowd, then I think at that point the commission has to say, look, we would never even sanction you to do this fight. Let's say you fight Conor McGregor. Okay. They would allow it. They would not allow that for anybody else. Robert.
Right.
Would they allow you to fight somebody that's 4-0?
No, and I wish they would. If I could get a check like that, fighting
but that's a real issue. That's a real issue, and we've talked about this before. You know, you got these guys that have huge social media followings, and you know they have this leverage from YouTube and Facebook and social media, and they come into the sport, and they're making millions off of it, and they're jumping the line, so to speak, in front of all these people that have all these fighters that put in the work, that put in the years, that put in the sweat and tears for this payday. Robert, you as a fighter, what's your position when you see these social media sensations come into our sport and take advantage of the situation?
To be honest, I feel like this. I'm indifferent about it. It doesn't. Anybody that really understands boxing, I feel like, knows that that's just for show. I just think it's bad for the sport in the way that I feel like it can easily turn into like a WWE version of boxing, and that's not going to be good for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, that's not good for the sport. I don't personally think it's good for the sport, but I'm happy to see people like Devin Haney come up and make the money that he did. You know.
I think as far, and I see your point, and yes, as far as the for the purist, it's definitely something that, you look at it and you're like, fuck, it's a shit show. But then you look at it from someone from the business side of it, and you got to look at it and say, well, I mean, it's bringing in new fans, it's bringing in revenue, and so at what point do you say it's bad for boxing? But yet it's still generating money, generating new viewers. I mean, what's your position on that, Joe? As far as you're on the business side of it. What would you say if someone what if someone came to you, Joe?
Followers up, Joe. Is that like a?
You're breaking up a bit, Robert. But if they came to me and said, "Hey, we want a next fight card," no.
The answer is no.
Because it is. I mean, on the business, I'd do it in a second.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, I'm bringing in millions of viewers. What I'd want to do is to feature actual fights too that people came up and are worthy of being called boxers. I mean, there's spectacle, and then there's boxing that is so big that it's a spectacle. I mean, any major fight that you have, Canelo fight is a spectacle, no matter who he fights. Okay. You're going to have somebody that's only got 2 fights, never had an amateur career. They're the main event because they're bringing in all the money. Well, you know what? Your main event's going to be somebody that's earned it obviously something good, like NABF title, somebody that's got some